mission and I won't stop. No destination, but it's worth a shot. You gotta let me go. You gotta let me go. You gotta let me go. Ready for a war, got my armor gear. Sharpen your sword cause the time is near. Gotta do it big like Bon Iver. I'm a rock star on a chandelier. Off the wall, see I'm about to go crazy. For the beast, anybody that can tame me.
Hey there. Today I just wanted to give you an update on the Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation. I've been wearing it for a few days now. I also have fallen asleep wearing it twice. I don't recommend that, but I'm gonna be honest. I fell asleep wearing it twice, and both of those times I woke up with my makeup still very intact, and only once did it even slightly transfer onto my pillow. And I have been using my setting powder and my rose water, but I've been running out of time and haven't been using my setting spray, and so that's still, still I haven't had any transfer, like, really to speak of, without using my setting spray, any setting spray. Today I'm going to try it with a different primer though. Today we're going to use the Poreless Face Primer by Ulta on my cheeks and use up the last of my One Heck of a Blot. Yep. Okay, so that's the last of my One Heck of a Blot primer. Then, so I have a mattifying primer and a Poreless primer, but they're both by Ulta. So then I'm going to look through my collection and see what else I have. So I can have a non-Ulta primer as well. Of course, I'm using my Conceal and Define in the shade C15. And since I haven't found anything to blend that black Midnight blusher with, I'm going to go back to how I used to do my contour. So when I first started contouring, I knew back then I had a heavy hand, but somehow I now forget. I used to do my contour under my foundation. That just makes it more subtle. I still used way too much. Whatever. But I still do my highlight over my foundation. Because I think I started contouring way before I started highlighting. And by the time I started highlighting, that's when I started doing everything over. Smushing that up that way because that's where I want it. Of course, that cheek turned out the way I wanted it to. That one did not, as usual, because I started with that one and I used way too much. But that is exactly the reason that I used to always contour under. So that's what we're going for that. We are still going to powder under my foundation and to set my concealer. And move on to the foundation. Again, this is a Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation in the shade F15, which I think is a really good match. And then I also like the way it's been behaving lately. Of course, the contour may not show up under this because this is supposed to be full coverage. And I used to use a lot sheer foundation back in the day. We'll see. Either way is fine because I was gonna, follow it up with a little bit of contoury blush once I've got everything set up. I really like this foundation. I really do not like a wand applicator for a foundation. I guess I would if it was not a fuzzy doe foot. If it was like a spatula type thing, it'd be better, like this, but smaller. Whatever. Yeah, it just makes that contour super duper subtle, which is fine. And I don't know what this foundation smells like. The concealer kind of smells like MAC foundation. This foundation, has a weird foresty scent. It's not pine, but it's kind of, I don't know, it smells like something from the outdoors, and I don't go outside enough to know what that would be. I don't do outside. It mattifies itself pretty nicely, pretty quickly. I think this is definitely the right shade. Of course, if I'm wrong, let me know. I think the undertone is good. And the depth is probably as good as I'm gonna get. If I went lighter, it'd probably be way too light. If I went deeper, it'd be way too deep. Okay. Now that our foundation is done, we will go in with the Ben Nye Creamy Blush. Foundation on my tank top. I don't mind the powder because the powder I can brush off, but I am wearing this shirt today. It's exactly why I don't do videos every day like a lot of people do. I don't like getting dressed until after I have my makeup on. And I think it would be quite inappropriate for me to do my makeup if I'm not dressed. Whatever, I'll deal with that later. But that's why I wore this on top of my tank top, because I don't want my tank top to get all messed up, but I still didn't expect to get foundation on my tank top. Whatever, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so we're using the Ben Nye Ultra Blush in the shade Coven Red. I really regret not buying the purple one. I mean, I like this one, but I also should have bought the purple one. But maybe the purple one wasn't on their end of the year sale. This reminds me of back in the 90s. One of the first makeups I was wearing after Avon was Mary Kay. And there was this Mary Kay rouge that came in this little tiny pink square, and it was a cream rouge. And that was the first one I ever used, and I used to always use that under my makeup because I didn't want my blush to be too obvious, because my thing was, I'm like, black people don't blush, why would I need that? But no, it's because, well, duh, it looks pretty, and we do blush, and actually I do blush, and it does show up when I blush. But I digress. So anyway, I just kind of like the idea of having it melt in by being a creamy, balmy substance. And then also it just, you know, being under my powder, so it just sits better. So we got that on. Now we can highlight. And I've been using my Conceal and Define concealer since I've been using Makeup Revolution. But today, let's try something different. Today we're gonna use my ColourPop No Filter. This is the shade Deep Dark 50. If you didn't notice, I remembered to not contour my nose today because I don't know why I contour my nose. I mean, I understand the purpose behind it. I just don't know if it's something that I like enough to bother doing. The main reason I started highlighting and contouring is just because, you know, I'm a big girl and I want to keep some dimension to my face. But I don't really care about, you know, changing the shape or size of my nose. I just highlight my nose because I like attention. But I don't feel the need to contour it. The highlight just, you know, makes my cheekbones a little cheekier. And the contour here just makes my, you know, depth a little bit better. And then also I can hide my little waddle there a bit. Really subtle today. Don't have time. And we're going to set with my Ben Nye Pretty Pink powder. And then I just put a little bit down here and up here, even though I didn't really do much up here. For subtle highlight, I don't want it to be too glaring. Okay, now we are going to use my Danessa Myricks Invisible Eyeshadow Base. I'm going to use the shade Dragonfly from the Clean Color Megawatts for my upper eyeshadow, which is why I used a clearer base, because this is very sheer. And I don't want it to look all funky if I used a opaque base. I can't see without my glasses, see if I actually got anywhere. Oh, it's pretty good, but people say less is more. I believe more is more. Do a little bit more on there. My transition area, I'm going to use Olive by Coastal Scents. And then just in the crease, I'm going to use Mossy by AOA Studios. I'm gonna wet my brush. I'm acting like I have a plan, but I really don't. I'm just winging it as usual because I have no idea what I'm doing. We want to use, we're going to use Python Green, and that's also by Coastal Scents. Now we got the Python Green down, wet, dry off my brush, and go back into Python Green, dry. And just so you know, the only reason I sometimes include my eyeshadow application in a video is in case somebody's interested in the colors. It's definitely not for technique because obviously, meh, I'm a mess. And I never know what I'm going to turn out with until I do. I just hope that I don't end up with a disaster of nightmares proportions. Now I'm going to go into Prehistoric Green. It was Python Green. Oh, okay. This is also by Coastal Scents. And this may be a mistake, but I feel like I have to do it. I'm going to go into Hollywood Cerise by Coastal Scents. And just do it right there in the corner. Oh, that's not too disastery. Got my fallout brush. Oh, but now I actually realize that I got some down here. Let's do a matchy-matchy. I have no idea what possessed me, but it works. And then for my rest of my lid, lower lid, I'm just going to use the Prehistoric Green. Okay. I was having thoughts. I swear I was having thoughts. Got our Juvia's Place Saharan Blush Volume 1 palette. Going into Abbey. With a contouring blush. And, oh, I didn't brush off my bake yet. I've decided that since my eyeshadow is a bit loud, that I should have some louder blush too. So, I'm gonna go into Zane. Which is just any excuse to wear Zane, I think is what it is. Okay, again, I got to roll. I set everything with my Ben Nye Luxury Powder in the shade Nutmeg. That'll do. Now I need set my face. Actually, I probably don't need to. It's been fine. But why take chances? Remembering to use lip primer today. Lining my lips with Dark Blue by Coastal Scents. This is Lip Euphoria by Revolution Beauty in the shade Fortune. If and when I check in later, I will probably be wearing a different lip color. I do like this, but I need to stop bringing my lip color with me to touch up because that's how I end up with 20 in my purse. So I will touch up with whatever is already in my purse. I'm gonna brush off my powder. Spray with some rose water. Okay, and today I'm gonna highlight with this blush from Revolution called One for Playing Games. Right there, right there. Just a little bit extra. And I would really like to use some mascara today, but I don't have time to deal with that precision at the moment, so I'm just going to do my eyeliner using Jordana Felt Tip Liquid Eyeliner, Fabuliner. There we go. I'm not even doing anything like trying to make it look cute. I'm just doing a basic line, the actual lash. Okay, so this is what we've got for today. It turned out all right. It was mainly supposed to be about the foundation, but then I got a little overzealous. I will try to check in at the end of the day, since this has been lasting me really good for like 16 hours, but I mean, I should actually show. But gots to go. Have a great day. Okay, so here we are at about 6 hours. I did not use setting spray again today, but I did use my setting powder. And everything's holding up pretty well. I didn't retouch my lips. I didn't end up doing the mascara or anything like that, so this is what we got. Checking again when I get off work. We're at 10.5 hours, and remember, I did not use any setting spray. I haven't had any transfer. I haven't touched up my makeup other than my lips. And this is what we're looking like. Not oily, no separation, nothing like that. I really do like this foundation.